What's up, everyone? My name's Chris. And this is my co-host Tim, and this is episode 789, and we're stoked.
Dude, we're staying strong. 789. That's
Talk about fucking consistency, boy.
it's 789 weeks. I wonder
fun.
how many people will listen to this and believe that, like right off the rip.
Like they done went to our fucking
Whatever
Apple
platform.
yeah, and they see there's 4 episodes, and they're like, where are the rest of them?
And then they start going down this like super big rabbit hole. So they've like had the episode paused this whole time, and they're just now getting back into it. So you hear this. So appreciate the dedication to looking for those episodes, but fucking gotcha.
Yeah, you guys are the real ones. You're helping our algorithm.
Yes,
All that
appreciate
searching.
it.
But yeah, man, how's your week been?
Dude, it's been pretty good actually. Holiday season, so that's always hectic, but fun nonetheless. There's not too many points during the year where you're like called into being so busy for such a jolly reason. So I like being out Walmart and doing all the gifting and stuff like that. I can actually tell you one really funny gift because I don't know when exactly this episode is going to come out, hence the funny episode joke. But I got someone a fucking it's like you see those candy bars that are like super huge, and it's either like one massive Hershey bar or like a giant Reese's, or maybe it's like 30 packs of Reese's all packed together. Well, I got somebody a fucking super long Twinkie. That's like, it's a massive box, so when it's wrapped, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is that thing?
There was a limit, Tim.
Right. And they're like, did they give me a fucking kite, or what did I get? But it's just a shit ton of stinkies. It's a bunch of Twinkies stacked on top of one another. So I'm really excited for the person I got that for to open that gift. It might be my favorite gift I've got so far.
Bro, the candies that make me cringe the most are those like fucking 5-pound gummy bears.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh, dude.
I can't imagine trying to, so it's, when you, eat a gummy bear, I feel like when I'm chewing on it, it's my saliva that's what is getting it to dissolve. So do you just eat a whole 5-pound gummy bear in one sitting?
I'll eat like a little pack of fucking gummy bears, dude. It makes my stomach hurt, so I don't fuck with gummies too much. Yeah, man.
That's interesting.
Not like Sour Patch Kids or but just like the gummy bears or like the Lifesaver rings kind of thing. Oh, dude, I just can't do it, man. They're so good, but I just can't fuck with them.
It's that red dye.
Yeah.
It's that red dye getting to you.
Yeah, we've been trying to watch that, man, because sometimes these kiddos upstairs be on one. So it's like, you guys been slipping
so
red
funny,
dye?
dude.
But,
that's so, what a small tangent, but it's like, dude, we would consume that for years.
Yeah.
There was some, the endless amounts of, red slushies or candy, just all sorts of shit. Yeah. But now all this stuff's coming out. It's like, maybe I am fucked up.
Maybe it did something to me.
Right.
But yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. I think today we don't have a lot of stuff prepared, but we did just experience our first seminar at the shop. We had a few awesome people out, and I figured we would just kind of talk about that, some of the thought process leading up to it, why we even did it, kind of how it went, maybe some things that we could do better moving forward, because I do enjoy doing them. It was a great time. I think that Rick, Ron, Trevor, they got something dope. They got to leave with something cool, and it was just good. But it's funny, I've already seen one tattooer make a passive aggressive seminar joke, and it's the same guy that always was like, is he talking to me? But I don't know, it's funny. I liked it,
right.
but yeah, I don't know. I think I've always had a passion for teaching people, coaching people. But there for a minute, we was gonna try to go down a coaching route and actually do Zoom meetings and have courses and shit. But I think that we decided to start here, and a seminar was a good kind of stepping stone into maybe something like that in the future. Because there's been a lot of those things popping up, especially this past year. There's always been seminars, there's always been coaching, but at least from what I've noticed on Instagram, it has become way more of a thing to become a coach to students. And there's been a few instances. I mean, Tattoo Gate kind of came from a coaching experience. I could name a few different coaches right off the top of my head, but as we kind of started to develop that, me personally, I was like, man, it just feels like it's a little too early for me, I don't know, what were some of your thoughts as we start? I know, because you seem kind of stoked about it, but what were some of your thoughts, kind of moving in that direction at first?
Well, likewise, I felt like maybe towards the end of like because we had acted on those things, we had put plans together and put a lot of thought into that. I wouldn't say that we necessarily scouted people that we thought were a good fit for it, but we were our receptors were up. We had our antennas up, and we're looking for stuff. And after a couple moves on that, I think that the blessing that we have in the tattoo world with freedom is that we were able to like pivot.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like that's just like kind of how I was feeling, just rolling with it. Like, this is cool. Like, let's come up with a plan, act on it, put it in motion a couple times, reevaluate. What do we think? And like you said, ultimately we decided that maybe a seminar was like the best next step. And throughout this seminar process, I feel like I've come to think that we made the right decision because, like you said, it is a good stepping stone into just like, I guess, being in the realm of being asked questions and answering questions, right? Because that's not necessarily something, I feel like I'm good at that, but like when I'm in it, I'm like being challenged, right? And I we can dive into this a little bit more, but that was one of my favorite things about doing it was it was a challenge for me, and of course a lot of it was tattoo oriented specifically to like technique and design because it was 2 days, and there was a lot of things that I think you guys covered in those 2 days, but I did get to answer a good bit of questions.
Yeah, especially with Trevor Day too, man. He was more so than Rick and Ron, but he was diving into some of that stuff and really trying to pick your brain on it.
Yeah, he was. Kudos to the fucking questions he was asking because he definitely challenged me, and I think that he brought a lot of good questions to light for the other two guys that maybe they weren't even thinking these questions, but I know that they had both, Ron and Rick, both hit me up and was like, yo, like, I really appreciate. Didn't really anticipate getting a 2-in-1 seminar, so that was awesome. And that made me feel really good because, like I just said, it was more tattoo oriented with like design technique and etc. than social media approach. But nice to know that it left them with something good. Yeah. Right. It's a really good feeling.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that benefits us moving forward with doing seminars or coaching, whatever that looks like, is kind of a 2-for-1. You kind of get the best of both worlds. And it's not one person split-minded trying to focus on two things. You got one powerhouse and another powerhouse, which seems to drum up. It kind of gives some people an easy excuse or an easy out, as to why maybe they're not succeeding as well, or maybe they're not moving as fast, or it's easy to say, well, you got a Tim. But there was a lot of work built up to that point.
Right. I think we built a lot of foundation, and I love saying that I want to say that the last 4 years, or maybe our first 4 years rather, were a lot of like slow down to speed up. Let's really get a strong foundation. I would say that we spent a lot of time working one-on-one, obviously, which is a big conversation I had with Trevor, like working one-on-one with someone for this kind of project that we've had this whole time versus working with a team that's working with a lot of units and stuff like that. So there was a lot of effort that went into just like understanding one another and trying to like create the vision, right? So plans were involved and of course execution, but I feel like a lot of it earlier on, we weren't looking so much for like what the output was going to be or the outcome versus like, let's just get our bases covered and go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, and just moving forward, knowing like it's gonna pay. It's got to pay off, obviously. But yeah, so I mean, I think that you're right, man. Starting with the seminar was a great spot. I think something I've always said is, you gotta kind of build the foundation, and trying to grow too big too fast doesn't always end well. As I've seen, and even planning, we was planning to have about 10 people show up for the seminar. That's what we were hoping for. We wasn't. That's what we were hoping for. We were hoping for 6 to 10 artists come in, but the fact that it was only 3 was a blessing in disguise.
Oh, I really think so too.
I do too. Yeah, man. And it wasn't, because me, I'm my personality type. I'm not a huge planner. I mean, with clients or with really any aspect of the business, we have goals and we have action plans, but really it's just kind of showing up and playing all out all the time.
Right.
But with my personality type, if there was 10 people there, I feel like there was enough pressure with just the 3, and it wasn't right away that I felt that pressure. It kind of fucking hit me the night before I had the tattoo, But that's kind of when I deal with a lot of that with my clients normally. I'm not pre-planning someone's design 2 weeks ahead of time, 3 weeks ahead of time. It's usually 2-3 days before, night before kind of thing anyways. So kind of looking back at some of the process, there are definitely some things that I could have implemented to kind of help a little more. But I also think it gave them a chance to see that, you got to pivot last minute and fucking put in the work. And, I'll kind of break down kind of what that looked like as far as the design, because there was a whole process to it, and it ended up keeping me up all night, running on minimal hours of sleep, and then turn around and tattooing for 12 hours. But, there definitely was some things that I could have done better leading up to, But overall, it was dope, man. I think that we had a great couple dudes out. I felt bad that we got lunch both days. Didn't get no lunch, man.
Well, it's super funny that we kind of we had kind of mapped that out financially, just to make sure, like, dude, food's all gonna be taken care of, so we don't even have to think about that or whatever. But my stomach was just messing with me, and maybe even in some ways it was the anticipation, the build up, because like you said, I had been very interested in coaching and I guess just educating people for a long time, but it's a difficult headspace to be in where you really have the desire to do those things, but don't feel like you have a platform or really you haven't arranged your message yet, right? Mm-hmm. You haven't arranged or put together exactly what you're looking to tell people just yet, right? So I feel like that bogged me down a lot in a lot of ways throughout my life, but I was very thankful that just in some small ways, through social media. I mean, it's marketing, it helps people like build their brand, business, whatever it is that they're looking to do. It helps, and it allows those people more freedom with their business and their brand, and more specifically the kind of tattoos or maybe the kind of people that they're tattooing or even wear. Because I know that Trevor's looking to travel a lot. I think he's going to Winnie the Drew's shop, which is fucking cool as hell. And then Rick, he just went out of the fucking country, right?
Just hung out with some badasses.
Right, like to get educated, And dude, talk about the hunger on these motherfuckers. Like they were just so, like the humility that they had. And they were all asking super good questions. They all brought so much good stuff to the table, which... Again, like we said, it's like a 2-in-1, right? Because I think I definitely haven't been through as much coaching as other people in this world have, for sure. But I think, like I just said, having a desire to educate people and then finally understanding that I need to be educated myself, having gone through that for a while, maybe not having like a plethora of mentors, but I've definitely had a few in my life that have taught me a lot of good things. I think it's part of the process to want to be in the space of like learning and teaching at the same time. And perhaps like you never master it. Like John Maxwell, I'm sure he's still learning. So it's not that you become a master of like teaching someone. You just become really good and maybe even just better over time at teaching someone, but you're always getting better at learning too.
I mean, what was that Arnold Schwarzenegger? He's talking about, learn, grow, and then just share your process, you know, and then that kind of teaches and allows people to grow behind you. And I was really stoked that Ron was there in specific because, he's been tattooing 30 years.
Like, holy fuck.
30 years, man. That's a long time, and that's a lot of things to experience. And for him to still be chasing seminars and be chasing growth is awesome. And he said something to me that it made me feel real good about what we were doing, and it's kind of, I feel like it's really kind of what I was going for. He's like, you go to a lot of seminars, usually you'll go to seminars at like conventions, and it's like an hour, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, and it's like PowerPoint and checklists, and they're just like vomiting information on you and just like step by step by step through this process. But he was like, man, it's so hands-on, so like interactive. I feel comfortable, and I'm watching the process unfold versus just hearing it, which I thought was really dope. And that's was the goal, was to show up and let you in on kind of what some of that design process looks like, how I'm handling clients on the front end. And that just felt cool. Because I think that a lot of seminars or a lot of coaching, it's doctored up.
Right.
A lot of thought, time, effort, but it's not really the organic day-to-day stuff, which I thought was cool. You know?
And it's funny that the harder you work on that, like the more plans you put into something, the less organic it becomes. Yeah. Right. So in a way, it kind of makes sense that you would have some, maybe not anxiety is the best word, but some building anticipation like the night before, because there's not much planning you can do, right? You just have to go in and be super organic, just like be what you do day in and day out.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could go in and like reverse engineer my process and create some like verbiage that explains some of that mindset, but I mean, clearly plans change, situations come up, things will come up and throw a wrench in, right? And it'll just like, oh shit, now I can't go according to plan, and now I have to pivot versus just kind of just being prepared for it. And I think that the situation we had with the design and having to pivot at 1 o'clock in the morning and stay up till 5 a.m. to redo the whole design in preparation for 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock when everyone shows up.
Pressure's on.
Pressure was on for sure, and I just so happened to eat a gummy at like 7 o'clock. Katie talked me into eating a gummy, and I don't know about anyone else, but I've smoked for a long time. Pretty much every night for the past 10 years. Pretty much my whole business career I have at night. And that's when I would kind of find myself. I'd smoke a little bit, and then I would want to analyze my day, think about the future, think about shit I need to do. Well, sometimes it's excessive. Sometimes that shit hits me hard. And especially when I eat gummies, And about 9, 10 o'clock, like everything fucking settles in, and I'm like, oh shit, there's actually a lot riding on this right now. There's a lot of people watching. Tim's been blowing it up on Instagram. He's been posting. He's posted pictures of day one. Like, there's people who want to see, what's going on. Like, I was interested in this, but I want to see what you got going on before, maybe before I commit, or just curiosity, or Rick going to hang out with Carlton and Hip and all these guys, and Hip's would be the first one to fucking.
Oh yeah, he's waiting on it right now.
So all that shit just kind of hit me, and I'm putting the design together, and I wasn't stoked on it, and I love that I had the client I have, Dillon. He works at the shop, and he's seen a lot of my art, a lot of my designs, and this is how I really think that you want your friends to be. I sent him a design. I didn't hear back from him right away, but about an hour later, he messaged me. It was like 3 paragraphs, and he's like, dude, I don't love it. I really, it's not exactly what I was thinking. It doesn't quite hit the mark. Maybe we can just, because we already started the sleeve and we had a spot up top that we could work on and pivot to, worst case scenario. But I seen his message and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to call him. So I called him and was like, dude, I get it. like what don't you like? What can we do? What are the options here? And I spent about 20 minutes on the phone with him just talking about maybe changes. I even repeated it like 4 or 5 times. Like, okay, just so we're clear, if we do X, Y, Z, you think that, and we're still, worst case scenario, we had another option. But I was like, all right, man, and click, hung up the phone and fucking went to town. I think what I changed and put together was, one, way more realistic. I think it fit the arm a little better. And we was able to incorporate some of that new Empire ink that I think, I think it was well worth those extra hours. And I could have easily been like, you know what, dude, let's just do the other part. That's fine. We already got the design made. It's dope. Like, they'll learn something. We could just do that, we could. And in my head, I was like, man, that's just fucking copping out. That's just like taking the easy route, And I got these guys that. Ron came in from Maryland, Rick came in from Pittsburgh, Trevor, Columbus. I'm like, these dudes came all this way to like see, quote unquote, something dope happen. And I'm here and I'm just like gonna just pivot and just do something I designed a year ago, a year and a half ago. I was like, nah, fuck that, man. We're gonna go hard here.
Yeah.
And went to bed at 5, got up at 9, went into the shop and fucking tattooed until almost 10 o'clock. And was really stoked with what came out. I think that we'll probably post it over the next couple of days, but it was dope. I learned a lot of good lessons, and it just kind of confirmed some of the things that I had thought I was trying to accomplish. But man, it was an experience.
Yeah, it's wild. And I love that you said. This is how I would want my friends to be, So like have some like honesty and some criticism, man. Some openness to like,
hold me to the best version of myself,
right?
And that's so dope. And I don't think I told Dillon these words, and he ain't watching these fucking podcasts yet, mother chucker. Yeah, but it definitely takes some courage to say that, and I definitely applaud him for just making, pulling me into my best self. I think we've talked about the power of association and being around those people in your life, and the proof's in the pudding, man.
I mean, Hip says this or I think he even made a whole episode on his own podcast, like, don't be afraid to, maybe it was like, don't be afraid to approach your mentors or whatever, but I think even he said along the same lines as this, it's like, don't be afraid to like check your mentors. It's like, and of course you could say it's going on him, forever or whatever. But I do think that Dillon has a really strong, pretty much every artist in our shop has a strong level of like a strong standard for themselves. And, we try to hold each other accountable to that, which is why I think groups or like you said, the power of association is so strong, because like I have learned that I just have like a unsettledness to me if I can feel like someone like my brother next to me is like holding himself higher than I think that I'm putting myself at, because he doesn't deserve that. Like, if he's gonna ride with people, he deserves to ride with people that are gonna roll the same way he does, and that's gonna want to make me elevate myself. And of course, like, it's just like how you keep fucking going. Rising tide raise all ships, right? So
well, in the heat of the moment, he sent that message, and I was like, fuck, damn it, Dillon. Damn it, like,
which is a natural reaction, right?
Yeah, but I sat there for a second and I was like, man, he's right. He's fucking right. Instead of calling him and fucking giving him a hard time, I was like, well, dude, what's the move? Like, what do we do to fucking make this shit happen? And it was cool, and I'm really excited to do another one. I think trial by fire, you ugly foot first. You just learn in the doing, and this was a good step one. It was a good place to start, and I think sometime maybe mid to late February, early March. I think we're going to try to shoot for another one. I really love the things we covered, just like, because I really don't think that I have like a thing that I'm just like super fun, other than like the composition of my designs and like leveling that up. I know you've heard me talk a lot about that this year, and just like trying to grow into the best version of design creator or artist I can be. Because I think you can only apply a tattoo so good. Once you fucking learn the application, it's like, what else is there to grow other than, there's a lot of things that you can focus on and grow, but the composition and design. And I really enjoyed kind of breaking that down with some people, some of my process, going through some of their designs and critiquing and talking about, and then like printing shit out and like showing them how to make adjustments real time with the paper on the arm. Because you don't know how many times I've seen a tattooer do a cool design on paper, but when it fits the arm, it doesn't fit right. It's not wide enough. It doesn't flow right. Maybe they had to angle it or something, but they wasn't taking the time to go back into their Procreate tablet and make the appropriate adjustments to get it to really fit custom to the individual. Because almost every single time you do a design on paper, it just doesn't fit the same. A flat image of the arm, you're not getting the shoulder muscles,
Exactly.
the tricep.
I see people doing that all the time, like trying to like work in Procreate to like soften an edge or make something round around the shoulder. And I'm like, dude, that's just
it doesn't,
like, I see what you're doing to like make it seem appealing to maybe like get
for
a client,
like presentation purposes.
Right, exactly. But like, I do agree. I feel like a lot of people are just like, all right, fuck it. Like, cool, man, it's there. Bam, lay it down and just try to execute. And then it's, it's just not there all the way. Or I think maybe a lot of people will get frustrated. Again, I'm always going to preface this with I'm not a tattooer. So I've never laid a stencil myself before, but do have a lot of stencils be laid.
Yeah.
And I could totally see someone frustrated, like, why the fuck does this just not feel the same? Like, I'm not getting it, but it does seem like a very involved process, like a back and forth, right? Like, you can't just like work on that flat imagery and just like push it and it'd be done.
Yeah. But it's so easy at that point to just be like, okay, I don't know really what decisions to make. I don't even know what I could do to make this look better on the arm. Let's just run it. Let's just do it. Once I tattoo it, it'll speak for itself. But those couple things, could really take things to another level. And if you're curious, I guess I could probably break some of those things down, but I know a lot of tattooers are fucking hands-on. Like, they want to see the imagery on the arm. And I don't think it really clicked for them until they did. Rick had a dope design. It was a girl face, and it was just like a real painterly, real kind of messy, high contrast, a lot of deep blacks, and we printed the size, and I was like, okay, which arm you thinking? And it was kind of a test to see if he would kind of agree with where light source and stuff should be, and he put it on my arm, and it was a straight-on image of a girl face. And I'm not a huge fan of straight-on images, especially for the arms, because a lot of times those eyes want to fucking go sideways, or like it just looks weird when it wraps. And he was holding it up to my arm, and he was like, "Yeah, this is right where I'd go." And I was like, "Okay, And I took the paper from him. I had him stick out his arm, or Trevor stuck out his arm, and I just twisted it like 20 degrees, and it fucking fit perfect. Like one little, and I did tell him, you could make this bigger. You could go a lot bigger with this. But just that little tweak, there was no more wrapping of the eyes. Like, it had some warp, but the warp had flow. It went with the direction of the S shape. And it was like, dude, just one little twist. But you don't know what you don't know. And if you don't have someone else around you who has that idea, or, it's small things that just get overlooked that could really elevate your design to the next level, you know? And he was like, oh, dude, that makes fucking total sense. The hair was flowy, but when it was straight up and down, it was more of like a straight up and down curve. But as soon as we twisted it, that hair flowed this way, the hair flowed out, and he could have S-shaped off both limbs. And same with Trevor. He learned a lot from that design. He had probably 20 sleeve designs ready. Like, I ain't never had 20 sleeve designs put together and like options. But when he finalized every design, he cropped them all out to the perfect shape of the arm. But when we put it up to Rick's arm, it was the perfect length, but it was about 2 inches shy on each side. And it's like, how could you improve, or how could you leave your design to a point where it's easily changed, and you're not trimming it all up for presentation, but then also creating another version for preparation, for presentation purposes. Right. And he was like, oh, dude, that fucking makes total sense. And that wasn't a huge revelation, but that alone would take those 20 designs to the fucking next level, and that's a year's worth of work, But I really enjoyed it, man. I know I keep saying that, but the energy was good. The vibe of the shop was good. It's always good. I fuck with being in there, But as far as next time, things that I would probably do better, depending on who I'm working on, I would just have more time on the front end to make sure my designs, because I do that with clients. I have vision meeting, collaboration meetings, deliberate time to put something together for the day of. And I think with Dillon being a tattooer at the shop, schedules never really aligned. Maybe he got that little bit more of a friend treatment, and we didn't set in stone, put a time and place in to create something, right? But that's probably the biggest change I'd make, honestly. Outside of that, I love how organic it was, and then it just showed up. It's like, well, what the fuck do you guys want to work on? Like, what's on your radar? I could just vomit my shit, but like, what would really help you? So I think it was dope. I think it was a good experience. And if you guys have any questions, if you're thinking about throwing seminars for yourself, I encourage it. I think that we should all help each other. And if you're not ready for it, like, the proof will be in the pudding, But yeah, I do think my imposter syndrome kicked in a little bit, and it's like, am I even good? Like, am I ready for this kind of thing? But I think we should support tattooers doing this more. Like, why not? Why not someone throw a seminar? There's something for everyone to get, and it's like, I would rather pay my homie to learn from him than, and support, keep the money in the family kind of thing, versus just resorting to online sources and not helping another person grow. I think that kind of helped me feel better about doing it, But anything like that fucking happen with you?
Well, it definitely felt a little bit of that, especially when I wasn't necessarily anticipating there being a lot of questions regarding social media. Obviously, considering there was like a whole design process that was involved, it was all day one, So a lot of what I think this specific seminar was marketed towards was people looking to improve their design process and maybe like their technical abilities. But, like you said, the proof is in the pudding. When it's time to answer those questions, when people got them, you would like to think, the ego would say, I'm the master of what my craft is, Of course, I try to be a student all the time and to everyone. But, when someone is, looking for answers from someone, you want to provide, you want to show up for them. So, it being so organic and getting such organic questions, and I guess even just being specific to each individual is like, here, like, Tim, this is my situation, man. There's like multiple people involved. There's like money involved, and there's like my whole brand. It's a fucking, like, a whole puzzle. It's like a maze you have to work through. It's not just like you said, I guess I could just vomit all my shit at you, which I did give him a packet that's got like kind of a content process, how to like optimize your workflow with it, so it doesn't like burden the marketing side, doesn't burden down tattooers or small business owners. Yeah. Which I do think provides a lot of value just through text based. But when someone's like, dude, this is my situation, here's all my things, we look at my website, here's my Instagram, tell me what you think, what's the rundown, what's the rub, tell me what I can do better. I feel like you can't just like give them fucking bullet points. You really got to get in there and have a conversation, because I've got questions. There's things I don't understand that I had to take time with you to understand, and to kind of like put myself outside of that, to kind of have like a third person perspective of our situation. Like I said earlier on, building that foundation was just crucial, right? But I have to kind of do that quickly or on the fly a little bit when someone's asking me questions like at a seminar. So, dude, talking about fire under your butt. You're like, dude, there was points that I think where we were, and dude, I love those conversations that I had with Trevor, because, dude, he was asking me some fucking good questions where I had to really think and like, so what really is the best possible scenario for this, right? But it kind of goes back to what I was talking about in one of the earlier episodes. It was like, am I ready, or who am I to like be telling this person what to be doing with their business? Like that they should definitively, this is my opinion on what they should be doing next, or how to handle this exact situation, or this is how you should pivot. I think I was faced with that again, but it was in a much shorter period of time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was really happy with being able to, I think it's a little bit easier with tattooers, to like connect with them sometimes, maybe not all the time. I'm blessed to not have many of those situations. I've heard some pretty sour stories with like tattoo shops and, and artists and whatnot, but I'm very thankful that for really, all the artists that I know or have in my life, because everyone's been super sweet to me. So, connecting with other tattooers doesn't seem difficult, and it really isn't, but thankful that he was like prodding me with such good questions, and I was able to like have a base connection with him first, so that I could get into those things. I could really tell him what I thought, and it wasn't like, oh, this fucking social media guy, this video guy is just like telling me like some bullshit, which, I mean, you've had clients like that before, and there's been other tattooers that I know kind of have those perspectives. So again, I love the humility they had, and I was just able to like really get in and see how I can help them. Right. And it was super organic, which just like feel like I got sharpened a lot. Maybe it took me a couple days. It's a holiday season, so it's kind of hard to find time to like settle down and let things soak in this time of year. But, being at this podcast and like having this conversation right now, it's soaking into me how much I feel like that seminar sharpened me, as well as I feel like maybe it did for everyone else. Yeah. Right.
I think one valuable thing that we've always been able to do is, okay, we're presented with the scenario. What are the options? And we've been really good at, okay, well, I think this. Well, let's look at the pros, cons. Maybe this is another option. What are the pros, cons? And then evaluating and making the best decision based on conversations that are had. And to not have someone to bounce ideas like that off of, makes it a lot tougher.
I'm sure. I couldn't imagine. I really couldn't imagine. Like, and I know there's so many people that deal with this now. Like, obviously tons and tons of tattooers that experience this, but like, just feeling like they're alone. Dude, I don't have anyone to like sharpen me up. Whether it's like people in my area or people in my shop, but dude, we've got a couple clients. A Mark. He runs like his Etsy shop and his Etsy seminar. I can only imagine what those people feel like, because I feel like a lot of those people are just like people that have 9-to-5s. So then they go home and do all that stuff at home, just like in their fucking basement with like 3D printers and shit. Yeah. So they're like super alone on that journey, I feel like. But I feel like online sources, you were kind of touching on this a little bit with like, dude, there's tons of tattooers like starting to get into the seminar and the educational space, which I think is wonderful because, dude, like you said, there's something for everyone, you know. I feel like there's been just too many times in my career pathway this far that I've gotten like fucking light bulb moments from random people. Like, Hip's a motherfucker, man. Like, he did that shit to me all the time when I had him, like, in my inner bubble. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest, now I'm saying it out loud, it hurts that he's not like super in my inner bubble all the time, because that motherfucker won't let up.
Yeah.
You know, guys fucking pedal to the metal all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
And just seeing his like fucking bleeding heart all the time with wanting to get better. I mean, how could you not want to get better?
Yeah.
How could you not? Like I was saying, like if my brother's like doing that good, and I'm clearly not holding myself to that standard because his heart's broken for no reason,
Yeah.
from my perspective, right?
Yeah.
Because he just wants to get better. Who am I to like not step up to that? Because
Yeah.
I'm capable.
I don't think that not having someone in your corner is a good excuse anymore. I don't. I think there's too many options, and really shame to the tattooers who are against seminars and against people. You know, it's a cash grab, or you're just trying to make a quick buck off other tattooers. But in my eyes, it's like, well, why not support your brothers, your brothers and sisters? Why not support
Right.
people that are trying to grow? And why send my money elsewhere when I could help him grow to help me grow, kind of thing. And there's just too many options, to find those people. There's too many courses. There's too many tattooers online. There's too many forums, pages for you to sit back and be like, well, I just don't have no one to help me. And if I hear you say that, it's like, well, what the fuck are you even doing to put yourself in the position to be helped?
Right.
You're coming at me with an energy that's like blocking people showing up.
Right.
Because you're just assuming it's not there. And it's like, if it's not there, what are you doing? How are you positioning yourself to see it when it shows? Was it luck is opportunity met with preparedness?
Yeah, exactly.
And, I mean, I was doing that every night before I showed up at all night. And when Matt shot me the message to just say hello, I was fucking ready for some help. I've been spending the past 3 years every night wondering myself when it's going to show up.
Right.
But I was looking and my radar was up, and that's why I seen it. And then when I sent him a message back saying thanks and he didn't fucking respond, I still knew that was my opportunity to send another message and be like, hey, what's up with that new shop? You hiring?
Right.
Yeah, and that's when things really got good, And if I was in the place where nobody wants to help me, if I had that mindset, I probably wouldn't have sent him another message, and my life never would have became what it is now. Maybe, but I fucking doubt it,
And I think those are the two mindsets from maybe perhaps two different places that are deterring a space of growth, right? Is either I don't fucking need help because I got my shit, I'm dope, like I can't learn nothing, can't teach me shit.
You're just trying to get something from me.
Right, exactly. Or and that kind of carries into the no one want to teach me shit. I can't get no one to help me out. I can't fucking grow because no one will give me nothing. It's like, man, I struggled, just personal experience. I struggled to make a good fucking photo for 2 years, until I just got tired of it. And I messaged London because I just saw his shit was just great all the time. It didn't look black as fuck. It didn't look fake. It didn't look photoshopped. Clearly he wasn't on fucking, what's that page? Snake Pit or whatever.
Snake Pit.
Yeah. So he hadn't made it to that point. Clearly he's doing something correctly. So I think you actually put me up to it. You were like, fucking message him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of hearing
Yeah.
it. Maybe.
What's worst case scenario? He says no. That would have been the result if you didn't take the action anyways.
Exactly.
But look what it's trickled into over a course of 2 years.
Right.
Halfway through the second day of the seminar, London shoots us a message and is like, hey, I seen you just got that Empire set, like plug us.
Yeah.
Send them a message. Let them know we're trying to collab with them on this cool project that we got coming up, which was fucking dope.
Yeah, it was super cool.
Granted, we're not sponsored by Empire. Maybe one day. I love their inks.
Yeah.
I love their brand, and they got a lot of dope artists on the pro team. But just the fact that he never even met us, but through just a series of messages, communicating back and forth through Instagram, he's like, hey, dude, let's help each other,
Right.
And I'm not, you could look at that like, oh, he's just trying to get a plug through me, but I'm trying to work with them, and for me to bring Ghostline to the table and say, hey, Ghostline's trying to collab with you on this project, that did a lot for us too,
Right.
and if I had that mindset of, oh, he's just trying to use my platform to, I don't know.
And I just don't get it. I mean, I can definitely empathize with it. It's all love, you know. I'm not just on here to like, you know, shit out my mouth like all my opinions on people and stuff like that. I want to help people, but sometimes you just gotta fucking hear it, man. Like, you know, I think in my personal life, I've been struggling with that. Like, my fucking dudeisms is like, sometimes I hear the same thing 3-4 times over and over again, not fucking get it. But, dude, if I didn't hear it at all, I wouldn't have understood it. Ever. Right? I need to be told some shit. And I think some accountability is good. So, why the fuck even care that much about education? Right? Like, if you don't want it, that's your prerogative. But you're right. I think you can't be in 2023 and refuse that no one wants to help you, because like, you don't even, I think there are way more free sources of information or education than there are paid ones. Yeah. Like, put numbers to that if anyone desires to do that. Yeah. But good fucking luck doing that, because you don't know who's going to give you that information unless you just do it, right? Yeah. And London has like, it's like fucking 200K or something on.
Something crazy.
Wild. That I'm like, just like a lot of tattooers, I'm sure, look at these social media accounts and are like, fuck, he ain't got time for me, you know? But I was doing the same thing until I just shot him a message, and he literally... And I don't know if it was actually London. Maybe it was just Video Guy or something, because I do the same thing. But it's like not of... I want to talk about intent. Maybe like we should just have a whole fucking episode on intent, because I think that just needs to be drilled into my head and everyone else's. But if you go back into intent, like even if it is me, the video guy, replying, I'm having that conversation with you, or I've already had conversations with you a million times to build that brand voice that me and you are fucking in sync. You know, we're like on the same page with just about everything, right? Of course, we still differ. Sure. And I think that's what makes us a good dynamic.
A dynamic duo.
Yeah. Cue Batman music. Yeah. But I think that, of course, our differences are what build us up in a lot of ways, but you can know, even if it was London's video guy replying to me, it was the brand voice. You know, they were both equally responding to me, regardless of who it was. Yeah,
well, I guarantee you, he leads by example. You know, so if the video guy wasn't there to do it, London would have did it.
Exactly,
you know?
Which is how we roll, right? Yeah. And you just don't know who's gonna do that, man. Not everyone's got the same favorite tattooers or I mean, even just from my perspective, favorite tattooers that make really good content. Because like Guy Atchison, we were just talking about him at the seminar, fucking super dope tattooer, but his content looks like fucking fart, you know?
Ron thinks that we should get him on here. And that's one of those scenarios, like worst case scenario, he says no or doesn't respond. Right. But I think he...
And not to, like, you know, fucking talk shit on Guy Atchison's content, but he don't, like...
Well, content is different than tattoos.
Exactly.
His tattoos are fucking dope. I mean, Ron's back piece, it's like, holy shit, man.
Whoa.
Like, holy fuck, dude.
Yes.
But someone like him, he probably don't even have to worry about the content.
Right, he doesn't give a fuck about it. And I bet he's one of the people that's like... Fucking video guy, fuck him. Yeah. It's like he's gonna have to fucking get hired by someone else. You know, I'm not doing that shit. I'm gonna rock my iPhone 12 to like take these fucking photos, but you just don't need it. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell Guy Atchison that he needs to get a fucking video guy, because he don't fucking need one, right? But you know, if someone's coming to me and they're like, "Dude, how can I step up? How can I level up?" Blah blah blah. Sure, it might be an avenue for you.
Yeah.
But I forgot how we even got there. Yeah, it got to the point where I was like trying to defend myself. I'm not trying to call out a legend here.
You're like, get him on here and be like, hey, this is what Tim said about you. We'll have the TV up and I'll just play this clip of what Tim's saying about.
Oh, shit.
The guy's just like,
motherfucker.
Ron said he's like super down to earth, like hippie-esque, you know. He said the guy built like a whole steel frame, like what do they use to make casts, like plaster, like a whole plaster steel cage rendering for his back piece. And I was just like, what the fuck, you know?
What does that even mean?
So like he took steel of some sort and shaped like a box, and then took plaster and like molded his back piece to where it like was actually like a cave, or like the organic bio shapes.
Shit.
Like it was a full on fucking project just for the rendering of it. And to me, to look at that, it's like, man, that's fucking passion right there.
That's
you know?
next level. That's
he
so
did
next
say
level.
that he wasn't going to do that no more because it was a lot, but to even just do it once, I mean, that's fucking crazy to me, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I got to spend 5 hours on this Procreate tablet to, you know, but guys over here like 30 hours deep, like fucking building a whole ass steel. Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was fucking sick. But
That's gotta
up,
be one of the most insane like reference stories for a tattoo.
It's fucking wild. I wouldn't even know where to begin. But just based on, you know, our old head versus new head podcast, I don't know if that's what we're going to call it or whatever, but I think he would be someone, you know, like, what's your opinion on where it was and where it's going? You know, because he has reinventing the tattoo, and he's done a lot in the industry to help people grow and teach and educate. Yes, I think he would. Man, what would it be like having Guy Atchison over here at my house in my basement? You know, like,
shit.
Because he is someone that I found out early in my career about, and have been watching him the past decade. You know, that would be pretty surreal for sure. But it's like, if I don't simply shoot my shot, and that's circling back. That's where we left. If I don't simply shoot my shot, it's never going to happen. You know, and there's a few artists that I'm kind of got on my radar right now that I want to have on, but I just am like, is now the right time? Are we good enough? Right. Are we big enough? Do we have enough episodes? Like,
is that imposter syndrome?
You know what I'm saying? And it's practice what you preach, and I'm gonna have to fucking leave tonight or leave this podcast and be like, okay, I gotta do this, you know? So. But did you see Jake Ross fucking tagged us in another close-up thing? So we're probably gonna have to post it. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
even though Jake Ross is another one we've communicated a lot with, but never actually talked to in person. But he's someone that I look up to here in Ohio for sure, and have watched closely. I think out of all the tattooers on my fucking Facebook and Instagram, like, Jake Ross's shit pops up more than anyone's. And I can definitely appreciate his love for his art and like the passion to produce styles that he's into. You know, I've always kind of prided myself on being versatile, and I've kind of fell into, and I love where I'm at. I love being custom to the clients and putting their ideas just slightly above like only what I want to do. I love that. But on the other hand, like, I do admire the fuck out of that. Like, you just got clients lined up solely for shit that I'm just doing, like designing. I'm not doing anything outside of what I want to do.
Right. And aesthetically, I can say, like, dude, I'm a fucking nerd. Maybe I don't go as far into like the anime and stuff like that, but dude, you know, I love seeing, just to plug Jake Ross real quick while I get the chance or whatever, doing like the anime and like the video game characters and stuff, but in like a super dark, like grunge, uses a lot of red and stuff in his tattoos, like heavy blacks and heavy reds. Like it's such a niche, and I feel like that's what, like, I mean, Gary Vee would say this like probably 10 years ago, all the way up until now, is like, you got to hit your niche.
Figure out what you're passionate about,
right? And just like fucking do that. I mean, you quoted Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, just like do the thing over and over again, and then go tell people or whatever. Like, learn yourself and then go tell people what that is. And I feel like that's just like such a good example of it. And the proof's in the pudding, because he's got clients. You know, he's always putting out something dope. And just we touched on this a little bit, but it's so easy to like choose the negative side of the coin. You could just like, because I saw a tattooer do this recently on a podcast, and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And they were just like shitting on people that was like, well, you don't know if he's just like fucking tattooing his dudes over and over again, and just to make it seem like he's got something to post. But it's like,
That's such a shitty way to look at things.
why is that even important to you though? Because
just saving your own ego.
Because even if it is at social media, like you said, maybe not ever met him in person, but I think that's the power of social media is like, to come back to intent. And we talked about that at the seminar is like, when I shoot someone a message online, it's not coming with a malicious intent that I'm just trying to get a fucking follow or, give me your attention. It's like, you fucking followed my account. Like, that tells me that either you're a fake account or you actually like what I am putting out.
Yeah.
And sure, like the first one could be taken as negative, but I just don't think it's super beneficial. I'll be like, oh, they followed me, so that I'll fucking follow them back, and then they'll unfollow me. It's like, dude, that might happen, but like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna put my energy into that direction because then I feel like it's probably gonna happen more, versus like the output I'm gonna get when I'm just like shooting someone a message and being like, dude, that fucking tattoo's dope, good shit, or like. Potential client, like clearly they're not a tattooer, but they followed the account. It's like, hey, I appreciate you following me, hope you're doing fucking great.
And you're saying actually DM them?
Right, yeah. Actually DM them.
Yeah.
Send them a message.
It's so easy. Thanks for the follow. Have a good day.
And that's it. And the intent of it is just being kind.
But what if I'm trying to get money out of them? What if I'm trying to like what? Nah, put that shit to the side.
I get it. You're trying to make money. That's what are we in business for?
Yeah.
Like what do you do anything for? I'm not gonna sit here, and I've said this on stream to people before. I'm not here to just like fictitiously act like I'm not here to make a living out of what I want to do with my career. So when you support me in those ways, which of course stream's a little bit different, they're not necessarily getting something other than entertainment in a lot of ways, but. Yeah, I create tattoos. I tattoo people. Yeah, I fucking charge them. Like, what? Yeah. Am I just, like, tattooing everyone for free because I'm cool? Right? I can't do that because I'm going to work at McDonald's and tattoo for the rest of my life for free.
You know what's funny, though, is, like, you have that feeling, oh, they're just messaging me to try to get something. But you know how shocked I feel like they will probably feel when you actually don't try to get any? Like, you don't even bring up tattoos. Yeah. You're like, are you not going to try to sell me? Are you not going to try to hook me in? Are you not? And you're like, no.
I'm just no desire in trying to get you to do anything. I want you to do it.
Yeah, man. I think that a lot of people actually feel that way. I specifically have when people's reached out and just said, tattooed and successful. They did that with Taya. Reached out, just said, hey, hope you're having a good day. Love your page. Boom. And she's like, that, and she went and fucking bought some shit, you know? But they wasn't trying to get people. They were just trying to show up. And I think that's so real in a world of, we get a lot of spam. We get a lot of messages. Right. You need a logo for your bit. We get all that shit. But if you hit me up with, like, you need this from me, like, I'm just not going to respond. Versus just, like, showing up with love, supporting someone, I think that's dope,
And even if it is like, I what I see a lot of, is a fellow business like following us and then not saying anything at all.
Yeah.
Right. So realistically, they probably are doing the follow for follow thing, and then I'll follow them when they follow us. Sure.
Yeah.
I can, as a social media guy, probably say that's what's happening, but dude, you could just remember you're a fucking person, and then remember that these are other real accounts that, they're posting their own shit, they're posting their dogs, their food, their significant other, whatever it is, vacation. But dude, when they're looking for a tattooer, they're probably going to use Google or Instagram to do that, and I even said this on, during the seminar, was like, and I've learned this over time. Of course, maybe I don't do this every single time that I go out in public, but I do try to have my antenna up that I'm going to compliment someone. I'm going to put into practice to compliment one person while I'm out today. Because you don't know, you're fucking walking into CVS and someone's walking out and you just in the corner of your eye, just notice he's got some cool shoes on. Maybe they're not you or whatever. You just notice that you noticed them, right? And you're like, those are cool shoes. I'm going to tell him. And you're just like, hey, man, Those are fucking sick shoes. Have a good day.
Mm-hmm.
What happens in 3 years when he's like looking for that tattoo and he sees your face? And I'm just sure you could argue this is very minuscule and like how often does that really happen? But I feel like it happens a lot more than you think, considering the fact that as tattooers, your artwork is walking everywhere. So imagine like something like that comes up, you know, where they're talking, you're like, oh shit, I've seen this guy. He like complimented my shoes. You go everywhere. You go to the bank. You go to gas stations. You go to restaurants. You go to Walmart. You go to malls. Like, you get your hair cut. Like, there's just so much shit. But on social media, take all those examples I just gave you, fucking blow them out of the water. You have access to everyone that has an Instagram account. So, I mean, I'm not saying that you should get on social media and just
spam people with compliments.
Everyone with compliments or just, like, copy and paste to a million people this, like, hey, thanks for the follow, or just like, hey, I really love your page thing. Don't just like spam it, because then you're losing intent, right? And of course, I do tell people like I'm not gonna not use the copy paste tool, right? But that doesn't mean I'm not doing it with some intent. I'm going through people's pages when they follow us. I'm like, maybe not always complimenting them, but there's something about just doing it, even if you're not saying it. Like, I'm taking the real intent within myself to lightweight understand, even at minimal, about this person, even if it's just a name, and then I'm gonna like type their name in. I'm gonna organically type their name in, even if it's a copy paste message. But it's not like I'm drilling my entire explore page and every meme page possible that's like got high volume interaction, or like commenting other people's shit like follow me, or it's not that. Like, I'm really trying to have some intent to what I'm doing. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, and I think that we're going to have to check the timer here in a second, but yeah, I think that it really comes down to just planting the seeds, man. You know, and the more times you can be genuine and help bring value to someone, you know, show up to the room, bring value to the room versus just seeing what you can get out of it, you know, those coincidences will start to happen. It just, the universe made, you know, but you're kind of orchestrating that in your favor, you know, at least, you know, I'm not looking to get something out of it right now, but maybe one day they'll choose to go with me, kind of thing, you know. And the more times I can just be nice and genuine and build people up, the better chances I have of succeeding long term. You know,
the universe just feeding me.
What's the Zig Ziglar quote? You help enough people get what they want, by default you'll get what you want. So if there was one thing that I hope you get out of this, you know, out of talking about the seminar and talking about all this stuff, I feel like the biggest thing here is just shoot your shot, man. Yeah, if there's something you've been sitting on, a move you've been wanting to make, something on your radar that you feel like would help take you to the next level, like, what the fuck do you have to lose? Like, shoot your shot. Right. Take action. Put yourself out there. Be vulnerable. You know, even if you don't feel like you're ready for it, fucking do it. You know, when are you ever going to be ready just thinking about it? You have to do it, and then you have to rinse and repeat. You know, analyze, see what I could have done better, and then fucking do it again. You know, and I think that for me, at least for this conversation, that's kind of what stood out the most. You know, things aren't going to happen unless you put yourself out there some way, shape, or form. You know, but keeping pure intentions, I think that's huge. Sounds corny, all the good talk, kind of like be the best version, like that kind of talk sounds makes me feel corny. But it fucking works, and I feel like when I do my best to bring value to others, I feel better about myself than when I'm not doing that. Right. Honestly. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not doing that, I'm like, man, am I really showing up for other people? It's just huge for me, I guess, and it might not be for everybody, but that's really like the main thing. I think that if you took away anything, like that should be it, really.
And that makes me really think of this quote. I don't remember where this is from, but it was like major leaps in life don't happen with two smaller jumps. You have to it's one big leap, you know? And at some point you end up just doing it and putting yourself, like I said, just fully immerse yourself in it. And of course, there's, like we touched on, there's so many online sources to learn from. You know, you can reach out to people. There's seminars. Dude, there's even like I know there was a short period of time that you were seeing, I don't even know how to describe it. It was like kind of a small business, like planner type.
So
It was like a resource.
Yeah, so here in Springfield, there's a grant-based. It's a business, I guess, but it's they get grant money to run it, but it's the Small Business Association of Springfield. So it's just a group of people there to help small businesses in Springfield grow. It's free. They provide training materials. They provide a lot of assistance, hand-on, in there with you through Zoom meetings, helping you figure shit out, helping you orchestrate things to run successfully. The government pays for it. It's here. Anyone can use it. You send them an email, you set up a meeting, boom, you're getting help. And I'm sure there's things like that throughout the country. I'm sure, So the excuse of just no one's there is just not going to cut it anymore.
No, and especially when you can just ask for help. And I know that's above.
That's a tough one. That four-letter word is a motherfucker for sure.
And that's what I want to leave people with is like, because that was, if not the biggest thing for me, maybe still the biggest thing that I'm going through and learning right now, it is to just ask for help when it's fucking needed, And I don't want to shave off the benefit of going through the shitter, fucking getting put through a wood chipper, and getting eaten up, spit up. I think there's a benefit to that because it teaches you a lot. And
for sure,
we've talked about that quite a bit because that's what it does to me every single time. But that's when you fucking ask for help, That's when you learn that maybe I'm going to drop my ego to see if someone else has got something that I can learn from it. And maybe some people need to do that. They need to go through the wood chipper. I'm one of those people. Yeah. I'd be fucking chewing myself the fuck up before I ask for help sometimes. But I think there are other people in this world that are way more open to it, like Malachi. You just meet people and you like know something about him, but dude, that guy is so fucking hungry to learn. He just has learned to enjoy the process of being a student so much that he's just gonna go so fast and so far so quickly. And I feel like people like that got the fucking cheat codes because people like me, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, look at me, I go through like I wish, and I'm actively working on getting better at these things. But you gotta ask for fucking help. You just got I don't care what level you're at. And maybe this is opinionated to the people that are like we talked about at the beginning of this is like, I don't fucking need help. Can't teach me shit. All right. All right, man.
Cool.
On to the next. You might be the best fucking tattooer, but I'm willing to bet there's questions you got as a fucking son, father, brother, uncle, friend. I don't give a fuck what it is. You're going to be curious about something in this life, and there's going to be something that you don't have a fucking answer to that wasn't the best decision every single time, right? So,
well, I've always thought that people love to help, so like I could say I'm self-made. I could say I did it all by myself, got here with no fucking help. But for me, it's so much cooler to see a crowd of people who all helped me get here, who all played a part in my journey, who all stood up, gave me answers, gave me advice. I took it, and now they can be like, yeah, I fucking helped that dude. And for a lot of people, that's like almost ego hurting. Like it could almost mess some people up.
Right.
But it's like, man, that's so fucking cool, And I think it just leaves good taste in people's mouths. Like when clients are in my chair and I'm spending time figuring out what gets them going, what they've done, let them give me advice, and then for me to circle back and be like, dude, that advice fucking helped me. Like that shit worked.
And it has happened so many times.
And next thing you know, they're like, there's just that connection. I don't know. I think that's way cooler than I did it all by my lonesome. You know? And that's exactly how it sounds. Sounds lonely.
And it's so funny because I think I think it's super funny that we're still getting questions about what the point of this podcast is, but that was it right there. Is like that I feel like was the epitome of I'm not the fucking guy, but in an explained way is like I would rather just not be so fucking alone in this that I'm going to ask for help. Yeah. And when I ask for help, I'm going to fucking remember who I asked for help. I'm going to remember what they said to me. Sure, maybe it might not be like fully maybe I've taken it and morphed it into something, or maybe I didn't use it at all. I don't care. You were a part of my journey. You were receptive to understanding I wanted to get better. And that in and of itself is a great benefit to, I think, just anyone. Yeah. Really, is being seen that I'm trying to get better. Because we talked about this we talk about this frequently. It's just like people like being acknowledged, you know? And I think we a lot of times like to, maybe not necessarily for, like, again, it's that negative. You could always look at the negative side as like, oh, you're just trying to like have some sort of alternate intent. But it's like, when you understand people want to be acknowledged, you're like, oh shit, I can just acknowledge other people. Like, and if I do that enough, I think I can have a faith and trust that someone else is going to fucking acknowledge me. 100%. Right? Because it's just, it works both fucking ways. And when you stop worrying so much about when someone's going to acknowledge you, it's probably going to happen a lot. Yeah. You know, because the periods of time between acknowledgement are going to seem like so like drug on, or it's like, God, I can't remember the last time someone saw me or, you know, acknowledged me, which, dude, it does get hard, you know, when you bust your ass. It is, you know, and I'm so not here to like say that that's not like a real feeling or worthy of validation, because that's where more often than not I'm catching myself not asking for help is when I'm not validating that I'm going through the fucking shitter and stuff. Because when I'm the guy all the time, dude, I'm fucking chiseled out. You can't break me none. Like, there's not even like a little bit of imperfection on me, you know? I'm just here to do it and execute, and it's going to be perfect every time. And I'm completely not even open to the thought of like someone else could benefit me or I could benefit someone else. Because if you're going to act like you're perfect, then you're going to, I mean, someone else could just equally say that by themselves, you know? And what's to stop everyone else on the planet saying that? So you just don't have anything to help anyone else with either. You know, you're just going to gatekeep it all, you know? Yeah. And I just don't think it's worth it. You know, if you're going to push away education, I just don't get it. Or like push away help in any way. Yeah. It's 2023. It's time to start fucking just doing shit together. Yeah.
I agree, man. I agree. And to be fair, I think there's more of it now than ever. And honestly,
I'm not just here to like be like the first one to say it. You know, I think this has been a long time coming. Yeah, build up to this, but I'm excited about that. I should say that's probably a better way of saying that. Yeah. I'm excited about where we're going.
I think we're just trying to put some of the cherry on top to help keep pushing in that direction. Right. Really, and I'm kind of surprised how much of this topic I've seen on my Instagram lately. Maybe it's just because we've been talking about it, and now AI's like the algorithms like, hey, you want to see this shit? Yeah. But I have seen a lot of people stepping up, and I think it's fucking rad because there's a lot of tattooers out there that need help for sure.
Yeah, there is.
You know, and really, I wish it would happen sooner. You know, because maybe we wouldn't be facing similar situations that we are now. If we would have came together sooner and pushed each other up sooner and kept money in the family and built each other up, you know, who's to say that there wouldn't be no room for big companies to come in and buy things up and make big companies, take over big companies and monopolize things. If we would have came together sooner and pushed in that direction, you know, maybe we could have been more prepared to buy those companies ourselves or make those moves and have enough power as a team, as a unit, as an industry to be like, no, fuck you, stay away, kind of thing, you know. But I don't know. I think that for me, I think I got what I wanted out as far as the seminar, and I think it trailed into some good topics. And you know, I think we're approaching some time here. I think we got maybe 20 minutes or so left, and I really just kind of wanted to talk about the Patreon a little bit. You know, because I think we're probably going to try to shoot something after this. Yeah. And we have some ideas down, and I've been watching some other Patreon stuff to kind of wrap my head around some cool things that would be to bring you guys. You know, so if you guys have any ideas, this is me asking for some help, you know, just throw them out there. You know, I think we got some cool stuff to bring you guys, but if we can hit the mark even better, you know.
And like I said, that's the benefit of a platform like this is like, you know, you can be so involved, but you can only be as involved as you're, you know, playing into being involved, right? So like this show can really become like really a collaborative effort between, you know, me and Chris and all of you guys. But just fucking don't be afraid to shoot a DM. Don't be afraid to drop a comment, you know.
And there has been some good stuff brought to the table already. We've had some good feedback, which me personally, I was really hoping we'd get some feedback, good or negative, either way, you know, some kind of feedback, and we've got some good stuff. And really quick, I just wanted to acknowledge Jake Myers being the first Patreon. That's fucking awesome, man. And to kind of give you a little bit about who he is, he was my daughter's softball coach, and you know, getting out there on that field and the passion he had to help coach them girls and instill good, really good trades qualities, ways to think about competition, sportsmanship, and showing up with good attitude and having fun. I appreciate you, man.
Fucking kudos.
I'm glad that you were her first coach, honestly. So I just want to take a quick second and acknowledge you. We'll have to make sure we tag him in it and shit.
Hell yeah.
You know, but yeah, keep letting us know. Keep letting us know. You know, and if there's something you think we can do better, we're all ears, you know. And I really appreciate the comment we got about, are you guys even a tattoo podcast? You know?
Right. The name could elicit maybe people feeling like it's not, and it's, you know, it's a little bit of everything, you know, because I feel like that's just what me and you are. And I don't want to sit here and like, sure, maybe first 5-6 episodes you're struggling to grasp what exactly it is, but I promise, hang tight with us, you know, stick around, because I think that you're going to get to know us really well, and obviously we're going to have guests on. So this is going to, along with being a collaborative effort with the audience, we're going to bring other thoughts in. We're going to ask some people some really good questions, and you know, there's always going to be a level of growth without just like constantly acting like I'm the fucking dude that's going to be teaching you shit, you know. I would like to learn alongside you guys, learn from you, and learn from other people too.
Yeah. And if you wanted to be a guest on this show, that's a possibility too. Reach out, you know. I think that we've really been racking our brain on some good people to have on, and you ain't got to have 100,000 followers. You ain't got to be doing the most, you know. We're just looking to collab with people who are thinking about their future moving forward.
Right.
You know, working towards something bigger than where they're at now, you know. We may even have a couple people that don't really agree with, you know, with everything we're talking about. You know, I think that could bring value too. But let us know if you want to jump on here. We're about to add a whole nother space down here to where we'll have more space to kick back, chill, open it up to a few people at a time, and you know, really start trying to have more guests in.
Right. Really.
As of right now, I guess one guest.
Right. We'll start with one and see where it takes us.
Which I'm really stoked about the first one. It's gonna be hip.
Yeah. It just had to be. You know.
He's been a huge part of my life, huge part of Tim's life. Honestly, I wouldn't be where I'm at if he wasn't in my life. You know. So I'm excited to bring him on here.
I don't know where we're gonna fucking put him. He's big as fuck.
He's gonna have to
gonna have to lean down. He's gonna crouch down, walk into the basement. We'll do some construction for you. Raise that ceiling a little bit for you.
Just like one little single path all the way through that he just like keeps his head in.
Oh, we love you, Hip.
Yeah. Well, and he'll be able to share some of his experience in Mexico with he went down there with it was like an evergreen invitational VIP vacation thing. So I don't know who all was there, but it sounds like some awesome people to hang out with. So we're going to pick his brain on that. I think one thing that I'm not going to say I've missed out on because there's a long journey ahead of me. But one thing that I haven't really got to experience a lot in the industry yet is just traveling a ton. You know, I started my career, as you guys know, with a kiddo, and that's really locked down a lot of that. So just getting to hear his side and help kind of build that vision of getting into that place of traveling, experience more, doing the podcast on the road, which our first podcast scheduled that's going to be not in this place, Cyan Invitational here in Dayton. That's coming March.
Fuck yeah.
That's going to be really exciting. So if you're listening in on this, the convention's right down the road.
Yeah.
Right down the road from where we're at. It's 30 minutes from here, Dayton, Ohio. It's the second year doing it.
Put on by Josh Wiley. You know, he's a fucking, good-ass artist, got a really good team, and he puts a lot of fucking care and effort. Like, dude's sweating the whole fucking convention,
Yeah. Well, and just the passion that he has, and I've seen him in the dirt with the bloody nose. Like, I've seen him have to pick himself, maybe not associating with him through the process, but outside in, I've seen him in that place where his shit just got flip-flopped over, but now he's got a beautiful shop that he's partnered with his wife. It's a hair salon, tattoo parlor thing. They both got brand new fucking whips that they're...
That's fucking awesome, man.
He's living the dream, and I admire that, to be at the bottom just a few years ago in such a short period of time, flip it on its head, and now he's living his fucking best life. I think that's awesome.
Right. And no better story than here in the fucking heart of the country, Dayton, Ohio, right?
Yeah. I think I know that the last one we went to was epic. I think COVID kind of threw it off. It was postponed, I believe, 2 years. So it'll be exciting to see the change from last year to this year. And we're just kind of stepping up and saying, let's show out. Let's help support. Trevor immediately went and booked the convention after we talked. So he's going to be there. That'll be exciting.
Yeah.
But we'll be podcasting all weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're going to try to have Josh on. I don't think we've mentioned that to him yet.
No, but before this episode comes out, we'll have touch base with him and stuff like that. So you might see big old Josh Wiley on the show, but if you're attending, dude, and maybe you're, I don't know, we haven't really talked too much about this, but who knows who we're gonna have on that show. It'd be really cool to talk with some. There's
conventions are long weekends, bro. They wear my ass out, so there should be plenty of time to have a handful
to settle
of people
down, come to our booth. We'll have a drink or two and just chill, have a good conversation, and just fucking kick it, man. We might even I didn't even think about this until now, but I think it might even just be cool to have it's kind of like a flash sale type of podcast episode where we're like 15-minute intervals, like 15-minute interviews or whatever. So have someone come in and just like, what's up, man? Like, what are you doing at this fucking show? What's up? Show us some of your work. What are you working on? Well, fucking great to meet you. Can't wait to kick it, see what you're working on the rest of the show or whatever. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
people coming in and out, a lot of work.
4 every hour, 12 hours on Saturday.
Right, flash sale fucking
Is there
podcast.
anyone left to talk to?
Gone through every motherfucker in that building.
Yeah, and for me, dude, that's more nerve-wracking than anything. That and having guests on, because I'm going to have to step out of my own way of being and, do some research and try to, actually learn about these people.
Right.
Maybe not at the convention unless we know who we're going to be talking to. Right. But, dude, it is pretty nerve-wracking having guests, honestly. I think right now a lot of that falls more onto my shoulders as far as, what we're talking about and different subject matter and bringing stuff to the table just with you editing a lot and stuff.
Right.
So for me, it's oh man, I'm going to be interviewing people, which I know I'm good at. I know I'm good at bringing things, good at asking questions and good at getting information or driving a conversation. But it's just going in there, trying to pre-plan what that conversation is going to be like. Is nerve-wracking for me.
Right, without being so inorganic that you're trying to keep it going in one specific direction.
That's not what I asked you. Don't talk about that.
Right, cut.
No, but that's exactly where I want to be. It's exactly where I need to be. Because when I get comfortable, I get lazy, I procrastinate, I just coast, and I'm at a time in my life where I need to be challenged. And I think that's the area that I need it. some of the most, outside of like talking directly into this camera.
Right. Yeah. This is new and kind of weird, but
yeah, that's something I really am excited to embrace.
Right. And I also think, bring it completely full circle. Good reason to do the seminar.
Yeah.
It's just, not getting stale. I want to put myself in that position to, like I said, have to answer some really tough questions, but I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to commit to giving you the best version of myself and bringing the most value to you that I can.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But, shit, man. I think we fucking beat this fucking boogie.
Yeah, I think it's been a good episode. I really don't have anything else I wanna chat about right now. I think next time I kind of, because I do want to incorporate a little bit more, not necessarily application stuff. Like, it's really hard to teach someone how to tattoo through a microphone. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of that is through feeling and like in the process of doing. And since I can't see what you're working on right now, it's kind of tough. So I can't really say that we're probably going to talk about a lot of technical application stuff, but I would kind of want to let you guys a little bit more in on my process, and maybe kind of talk about consultations, where that even begins. Does the consultation start when they walk in the door, or have I been planning for it? Have I been teeing myself up to get good consultations, to get the right people? I think there's a whole mindset that could go into that, and I think that we could bring some value on the tattoo side of things more, and it would help you guys kind of understand what I'm trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
So I think that may be what we dive into next. And with that being said, I don't know if this is going to get put out before we actually record that, but if it isn't out, and you guys hear this episode and you guys want to know some things, like, let us know, because that's coming. And if I can cater it to your needs, specific, I'm sure you're not the only one that has that question. Speak up so I can incorporate my thoughts on that and try to leave you with something there. But yeah, it's been good. I think we're gonna try to do this Patreon. So I'm gonna hand it over to Tim, and I'm gonna let him drop the social media stuff, and we outie.
Hell yeah. Well, like always, y'all, you can find the show on every major platform. That's on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, Google Music, Amazon Prime, all the good stuff. You can find the show and watch a bunch of our clips on YouTube and our Instagram, which is @MoreThanTats. It's pretty much the same on every social media platform. I think that I've done enough looking it up, where More Than Tats on Google, you'll be able to find our platforms or our link tree, whatever. Can find me @SaulGoodX on Instagram. Pretty much the same with all platforms. Chris Powell Tattoos on most of your shit. And yeah, just fucking make sure you like and subscribe. Stay notified because, dude, YouTube's a motherfucker. I be trying to upload shit on time, and it just don't be doing it. It just don't be linking up at the same time as the audio's dropping and stuff. And we'll get better with that as we stockpile a lot more episodes. But it would be super cool to see you guys fucking jumping in there and letting us know who's watching it first. Because I see we'll upload episodes and motherfuckers are already watching it in 30 minutes.
Yeah,
which is amazing.
Yeah,
so cool. But I don't know who's doing it.
Yeah, say
let
what's
me know
up.
who's fucking watching this shit first.
Yeah.
But without further ado, very much appreciate this time with Chris and all the audience. Very thankful for you to spend this time listening to the podcast, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, you guys have a good evening, and go attack your comfort zone.